Okay, so we're going to calculate the volume of our existing mesh, and then we're going to make some modifications to it. So for this case, we're just going to raise that field by 0.5 metre, like you have to do in Studio. The only thing we're doing, though, is just going to raise it. I don't care about runoff and any of that you're going to be doing in Studio. I just want you to be able to make a modification to it and then calculate the volume with some very simple math, i.e. the volume of the new mesh minus the volume of the old mesh, will give you what your earth balance is, okay, or how much material you'll have to bring in. So let's have a little look here. Actually, I'll just have to revert this because I've been playing around with it this morning. Okay, so this is a little bit out of date to what I had actually done in other classes, but it doesn't matter. It's good enough. Okay. So here's my existing terrain. So at the moment, I've got something that kind of looks like this, right? So what I want to do, though, is I'm going to make a whole bunch of changes to this terrain. Now, for your project, I don't expect you to change the buildings and bleachers and all that sort of carry on. Just all I'm interested in is, here's the proposed changes to the terrain, and this is how much material we're going to have to bring in or remove or whatever. Cool? So, first of all, I'm going to do it a little bit more intelligently in this session. First thing, okay, I need two things. I need modified contours, because really, if I'm going to recreate this, I should manipulate my contours and show them, and I can just recreate the changes. I also want to preserve what I've already got. So I've got this road slab, which I could actually use, and terrain original. Okay. However, terrain original has already got holes cut in it for the roads. So I'll just show you how we can figure out the volume. So I'm just going to go mesh select all. Okay, so I've selected all my meshes. So in this case, 2 of them. One's my road mesh and one's my terrain original. Now, if I go creative, actually I'm jumping the gun. I'm just going to select one and just show you the easy way. So I just select something, element list, basic. Okay, schedules, so document, schedules and lists, element list, basic. This will just show you what you have selected. Okay, so you can see that the one that I have selected here, it doesn't actually say what layer it's on, which isn't very helpful. But its volume is here. See, 5.1 million cubic meters. Okay, that was actually my road slab. So this time I'm going to select both my meshes. If I do the same thing, it will show me their combined volume. Okay, so it's saying about 2 meshes, which in this case is meaningless. But it could be quite handy. Maybe it was like a whole bunch of planting boxes and I selected all the dirt and all the planting boxes. And then I went and did that. I'd get the combined volume of all the planting boxes. And so I'd know, okay, we need to bring in so much material for all the planting boxes. Okay, so that would be quite handy. But in this case, it's meaningless because I've just got 2 meshes. Okay, however, sorry, I'm going to do that again. So meshes select all. Document, creative imaging, schedules and lists, element list. See this one that says general element list? If you do this one, for some reason it always ends up really tiny, if you just go flip to view. This one actually shows you road slab and its volume and terrain original and its volume. So remember that the reason that those are different is that terrain original has holes cut in it for the roads. So the road slab is really what we want. But I'm actually going to create a brand new one. So I'm just going to take my terrain original, go copy, paste. Original location, yes please. Cool. And let's just select it and go F4, make sure it doesn't have any holes. Cool, that's the copy of it. Remember whenever you do a copy and paste, it doesn't copy and paste the holes. Create a new layer called modified terrain. Awesome. Actually, I might put a little space in front of it. and change that to modified terrain. All right. So if I went mesh, select all. So I got 3. Oh no, sorry. Mesh, select all. Yeah, edited or selected the 3 meshes. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I should see general element list, fit to view. All right, so I should actually have 2 that are the same. The road and the modified are exactly the same, which is what I expect to see, because they're identical. The only difference is one is slightly lower, but the bottom is also slightly lower, so it's exactly the same thing. Okay, that's cool. Next thing I'm going to do is I just want to create a copy of a couple of these contours. Actually, I might just select all of the contours. So if in my case, it's quite easy, because if I just go splines, select all, I've got all of my contours, and go copy paste. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to hit escape first. I just want to create a new layer called modified contours. I'll put a little space in front of it. Copy, paste. Oh. Yeah, except I wanted to keep them selected. That kind of sucks. Because now I've got identical copy of them. I'm just going to go undo, paste. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to move them, because then I can select them really easy. And I'm going to change them to modified contours, and then I'm going to move them back. Actually, first, which ones are meant to be dotted? The original ones are meant to be dotted lines, aren't they? If I put a marquee around there and go spline, select all, I select all the splines in the marquee, and I'm going to change their line type to dashed. Cool. And I'll leave them as blue, that's fine. Also, I've actually got, if I zoomed in there, I can see I've got dotted lines. They're not very well spaced apart, are they? That's probably to do with my scale. That's all right. And so now I just want to grab all of these and move them back where they were, which is easy enough, because all I do is grab this, drag the whole lot. You could go Command D as well to drag. Cool, and now they line up perfectly because they snapped to another point. So now I've got modified contours and original contours, or just contours. Flick a few layers off. So I don't want to see contours. I don't want to see road mesh. I don't want to see terrain original. Cool, okay. All right, so if I hit F3 now, or F4 because I want to see everything, shouldn't see any roads. I'm just seeing my new mesh. I'm actually going to give it a different color just so that we know the difference. I'm going to make it red. It turns out too dark up there, doesn't it? I'm going to make it pale blue. No, it's all right. Okay, so now I just go for my life. First thing I want to do is, I'm just going to go to that, have I still got that schedule somewhere? No. Notice over here actually it's still got general element schedule there as well. You can just double click on that and it will bring it up. I want to make sure that I've got a copy of that number. Now for some reason you can't copy off this. I do not know why. However, you can from this one. I don't know why. I still haven't figured out why you can't change those, but it doesn't matter. So we want this one here, right? So I'm going to copy that number and I'm just going to throw it into text edit. Just delete those. And just go original or something like that, just so I've got a copy of it. Of course, original. Okay, of course, I've actually got the road mesh as well, so I could just refer to that, but I now guarantee I know exactly. Oh, crikey. Anyway, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I started off with and what I'm going to end up with. So, first thing, let's modify some of these contours. So, I'm just going to move this point over here. So this is my 15-meter contour. I'm going to push it right over here. Remember, I can add extra points. Cool. Remember, I can select. So here's the 15-meter contour on my. Oh, it says road slab. What? Okay, warning. I've got my undo. Oh no, that's all right. I haven't actually changed my. I've got two in here. I've got my mesh on road slab rather than road mesh. There we go. Cool. If you want to check, just remember, mesh select all. I've only got one now. That's cool. If I did it before, I would have had two meshes selected. Okay. So I want to delete this contour. So I can see here, one, it's the terrain. No. Sorry. I can delete that contour. I've got a few others in here that I created as well. I'm going to delete that one. Delete that one. All right. Just keep modifying this. That's my 15-meter contour. This is my 16-meter contour over here. So let's say that's going to stay where it is, but I'm going to add some extra points. So first of all, let's just add this one in here. So that's going to be 15, right? So select the mesh, back to the mesh tool, add that 15-meter contour back in, change it so it's 15 meters, apply to all. Cool. And I'm going to add some spot heights around here as well. So I'm going to go and back to my mesh tool. That's going to be my 15.5 meter contour. Cool, 15.5, apply to all. Cool. Let's have a look at that. All right, pretty much what I expected. Okay, it's higher than my field was, and I've probably buried my steps a bit. All right, so now if I select this mesh, document, schedules and lists, element list basic, here's my new volume. Pop over to here, and you can see that this number should be slightly bigger than the other number, which it is. Oh. Hello, how you doing? Hang on, I just paused my video. So that's all cool. I'm going to have a look. We're just going to go a little bit off topic, not majorly, so it's not for your assignment, but there's a couple of little things you should also know how to do. So for example, if we wanted to add a slab of material, so for example, up here somewhere, there's a car park, and you might have decided, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a giant big slab. Okay. Now, what's the height underneath here? I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look using, hang on, palettes, control box and my coordinate box. So I'll grab my mesh. I can sort of see that over here I'm sitting at about 22 meters, right? So that's a 23-meter contour. So let's say I go and grab a slab, and I set its top height to 23 meters. And its base height to, let's say, 15. Doesn't really matter as long as it's buried. And I'm going to do a square and an angle, and it's going to come off perpendicular to here, like that, right? So if I hit F3, that's what I've created. Okay, whoops, a little bit extreme. Let's just shift it up the hill a bit. Now, if I calculate the volume of that and add it to this, it's not what I would want, because the problem with that is that I've actually got all this material buried under the ground, and it's not going to take that into account. So what I would have to do if I wanted to find out how much material is required, two ways. I can either add it to my existing mesh, or I could subtract my existing mesh from this. So if I was doing a whole lot of work, I'd probably just want to add it to the mesh, so I've got like kind of more of a true model. So we'll do it both ways. And they're exactly the same, basically. So I'm going to do a solid element operation. My mesh is the target in this case, and this slab is my operator. And I'm going to do an addition this time. Okay? Use own attributes, inherit attributes. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to say inherit attributes. No, I'm going to say use own attributes. Go execute. Cha-ching. All right. So if I select my mesh now and go F4, so I see just the mesh, you'll see that it actually includes that block of land as well. And if I went and did so if I select it, document, element list basic will do me just fine. Oops. That's interesting. Not quite sure why, but anyway, the number that I'm after will probably be this one. Oh, no, hang on, what's going on here? 14? Must be that one, eh? It should be slightly higher than that number. No. Alright, let's just do that again. Yo. Why is it going and collecting all that as well? Let's just... I love it when things go slightly awry. There we go. Stupid 3D view for some reason. Copy that number, and we should see it slightly higher. Yep. So that's it's added the volume of where, yeah, so it's become one object. Alternatively, so if I go undo here a few times, alternatively I could do, that's the target, that's the operator, with a subtraction, and then I end up with just this little piece. And so then I could say, well, what's the volume of that? Again, it's probably going to... Oh, no, it did work in this time. No, it hasn't. I don't know why, but for some reason it doesn't work from the 3D view. 408 cubic meters. If I undid the operation, you should see that's a lot bigger. Yeah. Yeah, if I did it around the wrong way, I'd just have this little block of land. Yeah, exactly. And it could be quite handy, because, it might be, right, this portion of land I need to excavate, so you could drive the slab into it, do a union, an intersection, so it only shows you the intersection of where the slab is and the earth. And so then that area is what you're interested in. That's how much you would be pulling out. You're not interested in the big giant slab, and you're not interested in the rest of it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could work out that anyway, because if we knew what the combined was, and we knew what this little bit here was, then we could calculate what the... Yeah. Yeah, and you should also then, if we go and turn on our original our original contours, we'd be able to produce like a little plan showing where the original contour was. Okay, and I'd probably, in this case, if I was doing a plan, I would switch off the modified terrain as well. And then we're just left with the, because there is actually the dotted dashed one underneath here as well, but because there's a solid, you can't see it. Yeah, so you're only seeing where it deviates. Yeah, so the existing is king. That's got all the things. But for this modified one, if you want to, you could print out that as well, which would be quite handy. But we're just interested in what the change in volume is.
Right. So the plan that we print with the plus section is the one that we've done up nicely.
Yeah. So I don't expect to see the bleachers and buildings and all that all fixed.
No,
just want to know.
Volume, so that will just be something that we send you or give you the volume change.
Exactly, just the volume change. But yeah, if I was you, I probably would just print that out and then just write it on the page and hit print. So change in volume equals, or your earth balance equals 500 million thousand cubic meters. In fact, check this out. If I go and switch everything on, oops. We should. Now, here's a little trick. See, at the moment I'm seeing I've got the unchanged surfaces are almost identical. If I grab the original terrain though, this is just purely for a visual. So here's terrain original. If I just elevate him by, let's say, 0.1, I can see everywhere where I've modified. See, all these blue areas have been lifted. The yellow areas are unmodified. You can see I've kind of affected things slightly, probably the way that I manipulated that contour. Okay. If I lifted it up even more, yeah, if I lifted it up even more, should hide that. Now, I've obviously made a significant change outside when I moved that contour. You can also see I've probably changed the slope going through here. So that's why it's looking a little bit different. But that's purely just a visual. I wouldn't leave it like that because at the moment now I've gone and lifted my entire original terrain up. So it's kind of nice as a visual, but it's... Yeah. I could do a subtraction, I suppose, or I could subtract the old one from the new one. And I'd have just the bit that I've added.
So you just have this line here.
Yeah, but I'm going to end up with funny little islands as well. Yeah. All right, I'll stop the video there.